What's up guys, welcome back to another video. I'm getting really close to finishing up all the work I'm doing on the 4Runner, getting really excited to get this thing back on the road. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick look of what I've done so far, and then we'll get right into today's video. It's gonna be a good one, so stay tuned. All right, so if you've watched my recent videos, you would have seen that I was doing a bunch of work, changing out the suspension and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick look. So over in the front here, I got my Elka coilovers. Get a better look from here. Got those installed. Okay, and then up top here, I got the SPC adjustable upper control arm. Okay, over in the back, got the new Dobinson's Land Cruiser front springs, and those are paired with the Bilstein 5100 shocks. So those shocks, Bilstein 5100, but they're actually for the 4th and 5th gen 4Runner. So it just gives you a little bit of an extra lift on the 3rd gens. So that's the main thing that I've done. And then of course, I got the 529 Yukon gears and my 35-inch tires. So the last thing left to do before I can get this thing back on the road is get an alignment, which I have an appointment for in a couple of days for. But before I get the alignment, I actually have one last thing to install, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to give you guys a look at what it is, and then we'll get right into the install. All right, so this is what I got right here. So this is the Cam Eliminator Kit I got from 333 Fabrications. I'll link it in the description below and everything. It comes with these nice big bolts. When I get the old ones off, we'll do a quick comparison. I'm pretty sure these are much beefier. Comes with some instructions, just a QR code, and it comes with the plates. So these actually come bare steel. I got them powder coated this color only because I got my rear springs coated in the same color, and it was cheaper to just do the same color. That's why they're blue, and I think they'll look pretty cool. So let's have a quick look on how this actually works and what the purpose of it is. So if we get to the front of the vehicle, so on the lower control arm here, you have these adjusters, one in the front here, and then the one right on the back right there. So this round thing, basically you would loosen this, turn this round thing, and then it just, you can adjust it that way. So because it's round, the idea behind it is if you're doing like really hard off-roading, this thing can spin and mess up your alignment. So that's where these come in play. So because of the shape of this, because it's square, it's going to replace the round thing, and it's going to be locked against that right there, that and that. So once that's in, there's no way for this to spin around, if that makes sense, right? Once it's in, it goes either like this, or like this, I believe. So you get 3 adjustments. But once it's in, like I said, there's just no way for it to spin. Hence, they're called the Cam Eliminator Kit, and they're supposed to basically keep your alignment permanent. Now, one thing to note is that it's very common for these 3rd gen 4Runners to have these bolts completely seized, and you may need to cut it. If that's the case for you, good luck. It's a bit of a pain. Mine, fortunately, are not seized because I did get an alignment like a year ago, so I know they're not seized. So I'm just gonna pull these off, replace it with new ones, and we'll be good to go. So let's get started. So I have gone ahead and loosened this one already, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take it out. So there it is. And just to do a quick comparison, you can clearly see the difference. All right, so with that bolt out, over on the back here, right here, we can just pull this off. Okay, so I just used a little pry bar in there just to kind of pry it a little bit. It's already loose, so it just comes right off. Okay. Now this here, we can just use a rubber mallet to hammer it, and it should just slide out from the front here. So there it is. So we're just gonna pull this out. Probably have to use a pry bar. You can see all the rust that's in there and get it out. All right, so with that in place, something I noticed, so for the rear bolt, which is right here, so I actually got it loose already. And what's happening is I can't get this bolt out because it's gonna hit right here. All right, which is really annoying. So what I'm gonna have to do is basically loosen my steering rack here. I believe it's this bolt and this bolt, I think. And then I should be able to just move this just enough to get the bolt out and put the new one in. And then same thing on the other side, on the passenger side. The bolt is right here, and again, it's gonna hit here. So I'm gonna have to just loosen these mounts, and that should give me enough space to get the bolt out and get the new one in. All right, so we got that one off, and then this is the next one I'm getting. So I have my ratchet up there, so you can kind of see. Don't have too much room to work, but it works. All right, guys, so just wanted to show what I've done here. So got that off, got that bolt off, and then on this side, I loosened this nut and that bolt up top. And now this is, the whole rack is free. So I can just put a pry bar like here or here, anywhere really, and just pry the whole rack back just enough that I can get that bolt out as well as that bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and we can get this job finished up. All right, guys, so another quick update. So there's a really long bolt here. I managed to get it off. I think mine was seized or something, but it was really hard to get off. I had to hammer it out of there. And even then, it was still very, very hard to get that bolt out. I did manage to get it off. So there it is, got that out, got that out. So basically, I took this bolt off and then I had to kind of pry this back and push it up. And yeah, it was not easy at all, but I managed to get it out. All right, guys, so it's actually the next day. I did manage to get everything done yesterday, but what I thought would be a 30-minute job ended up taking me the entire day. So this was not an easy job. It was kind of a nightmare, I'm not gonna lie. If I had to do this again, I'd probably take the steering rack completely off, disconnect the hoses and everything just to get all the clearance. But the way I did it, it worked, but it was really, really hard and it took a while. So I'm going to show you a few things that might help you if you're going to be doing this job. So looking at this diagram here, so this is just for my Haynes manual. All right, so there's the steering rack. So this is if you were looking at it from the front of the vehicle. So one thing that really held me up is this long bolt right here that goes right there. And there's a nut on the backside. So that should just come right out. But when I got mine out, I realized there was just a slight bend in that bolt. So I don't know how that happened or when that happened, but it was stuck in there. So I managed to get it out, but it took me quite a while. So that was one thing. So now I do have a new one on order. So right now I just left that empty. When I get the new one, I'll put that through. And the other thing is that normally you'd have a sway bar there as well, which you'd have to take out. I took mine out quite a while ago, so it wasn't there. Other than that, a couple other things to point out is torque specs. So that big bolt there is this one here, left through bolt and nut. So that needs to be torqued to 151 foot-pounds. And then the bracket on the other side, so there's a bolt and nut. That one is right here, right? Bracket, nut, and bolt. Those need to be 123 foot-pounds. And then the last thing was the nut or the bolt at the top. I think it's this one. This manual, for some reason, doesn't show me the torque spec on that. I think it's like 120 or something. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. So anyway, I hope that helps. Like I said, this is just the Haynes manual. Really good to have. It's got a lot of good information in this. So the last thing left to do is to torque the actual cam eliminator that I just installed. So the instructions say to actually drop the vehicle down first, so all the weight is down, and then torque it to 110 foot-pounds. So we'll do that right now and we'll be all done. Alright guys, so the cam eliminator kit is installed. That was an absolute nightmare to get done, so I'm glad it's done. I hope I don't have to do that again. Just going for a super quick drive right now just to make sure everything feels good, and then I'll be getting my alignment done tomorrow. Can't wait for that to be done, because then I can actually start driving and breaking in my new 529 gears. So I'll have a video coming out on that, by the way, just talking about the 529 gears and how they feel, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.